All right, before we get this episode started, after you watch this, if you enjoy it, please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video and my channel. A big thank you to you for that. Now, here's this week's episode. When the first cool breeze of autumn is in the air, before the leaves change colors, bow hunters long to be in the woods chasing the white-tailed deer. And the closer it gets to bow season's opening day, which is mid-September here in Wisconsin, the more intense that pull to be in the woods with stick and string becomes. Bow hunting the white-tailed deer is special. A lot of the time it's a solitary event. Just you and your hunting skills versus this majestic animal, the white-tailed deer. And it is an upfront close encounter with your adversary, usually in the 20 to 50 yard range. It's a chance to get close and learn as much as you can about them. It's the joy of the hunt that draws you to this challenge. And the challenge it is to get consistently close enough to a whitetail for a quality bow shot requires a high degree of woodsmanship. So many things can go wrong between sighting the deer and letting the arrow fly downrange that it is never a sure thing. But when it all comes together and the arrow flies straight and true, there's a feeling of pride and accomplishment like few others have ever felt. The culmination of the harvest only starts the cycle over again. Because for bow hunters, the hunt really never ends. It takes time and practice to develop consistent shooting skills that become second nature, able to sum up and execute in a matter of seconds. And it takes time to learn the habits and the haunts of this magnificent game animal, the white-tailed deer. Attitude, desire, and commitment are the foundations for success in the field, so that when you have that close encounter, it wasn't luck. It was your skill set acquired by your determination. But most important, as a bow hunter, it's to be in the right frame of mind, being able to accept limitations, knowing that the most times out in pursuit of the whitetail, there will be no shooting. Man, if that buck would have only taken one more step. He was close, but the cover was so thick I couldn't get a shot. I put the sneak on that buck for a long time, just to get into position for a great shot opportunity. Then the wind direction changed, and poof, he was gone just like Houdini. These were tales of challenges met head on, where it almost happened, but things just didn't quite line up. These are stories not of failure, but of hope for the next whitetail hunt. For as you see, for bow hunters, the hunt never ends. As committed bow hunters, the bow hunts don't start mid-September. They start in late winter and early spring and continue throughout the season, with boots on the ground looking for deer activity. Placing trail cameras in that area of activity to learn travel routes and habits, such as bedding areas, deer droppings, sheds, buck rubs, buck scrapes, sanctuary areas, food and water areas, holding and staging areas, And based on obtaining all that knowledge, they're able to formulate plans to execute as the fall bow season progresses. And for Kevin and James Pitzl, this all came together on one special Saturday in October.
Now, you've heard me tell you in the past how my nickname among the RO360 crew is Nikon. And that's because I place the recorded documentation of hunting and other outdoor pursuits almost as important as the hunt itself. And I must confess that, yeah, it's probably cost me a few harvests over the years, for sure. But I feel that my shot with the camera is almost as gratifying to me as actually taking the shot that completes the harvest. But for most of the RO360 crew, it's focusing on the hunt and the ultimate goal. They stay the course and complete the task at hand. The recording and documentation of that event only happens as time permits, or if they're lucky enough that they have a cameraman with them along on their hunt. And for Kevin and James, these were solo hunts, intense hunts, and to their credit, they stay focused to complete the task at hand. The documentation of the event was secondary. Okay, first up, let's take a look at Kevin's approach to his hunt.
Deer change their habits over the course of the long summer and early fall, even before the hunting pressure starts to affect their movements. Now, detailed scouting notes and trail cam info can identify certain tendencies and travel routes where topography or man-made obstacles restrict the whitetail's movement to narrow corridors. Many shooter bucks had revealed themselves during the trail cam data collection period from April through early September. So let's take a quick look at some of that trail cam intel that helped Kevin pattern the most active trail movement of the whitetails. Now, Kevin's intel had him sitting in a stand on the northwest area of the hunting property here in central Wisconsin. Again, being a solo hunt, no recorded documentation exists of this exciting, unique big buck encounter. Suffice to say, Kevin got a shot opportunity. The arrow flew straight and true. And after waiting a sufficient amount of time to pass, the blood-soaked arrow was found and a blood trail was picked up. But after following it for a while, the blood trail disappeared. With dusk approaching and not wanting to push this buck, it was decided to back out and wait overnight and call in a deer tracking dog in the morning. Now, after returning back to camp to wait overnight, Kevin was reviewing trail cam data from the year. He found this 11-point unique rack, but couldn't be 100% sure that this was the buck he encountered today. From far away, it seemed like his rack was a little bit bigger than the one shown in this picture. But Kevin would have to wait until tomorrow and try to get some sleep. But hey, what about Jim? Part of this story is the exceptional, one-of-a-kind day Jim and Kevin had. Now, Jim arrowed a nice 8-point buck today, too. And he was also set up in the northwest corner of the hunting property and just northeast of where Kevin's stand was located on another trail. This 8-point buck passed by and presented a shot opportunity for Jim, which he did not miss. Check out the few photos documenting his harvest. A big congratulations to Jim on part of a unique, exceptional day for him and his brother Kevin. As you might have expected, Kevin didn't sleep well. He was up early and waiting for the arrival of the deer tracking dog. As soon as the dog and the owner arrived, it was right out into the woods. And with the hound's nose to the ground, it didn't take long to find Kevin's bruiser buck. Once the buck was dragged back to the camp, a close inspection of the rack took place. In this close-up, you can see 3 busted tines on the left rack and a club or web tine on the right side. And a close look from the opposite side shows the club or web tine and what appears to be 2 drop tines near the base of the right antler. And comparing this photo to the trail cam photo Kevin was looking at last night, you can clearly see these photos are not of the same buck. Kevin's harvested buck surely has a gnarly looking rack, busted tines from his battles with other bucks, plus the non-typical rack growth with the 2 drop tines and the club or web tine on the right side. Now, not being able to find any trail cam data on this buck from the RO360 Cruise trail cameras, Kevin reached out to some of our surrounding neighbors. And lo and behold, one of the neighbors responded with a trail cam pic of this buck. Apparently, he spent time on neighboring properties all summer long and started to expand his fall range onto our property. And as you can see from his intact rack, this was before his run-ins with the other bucks. Now, a close review of the neighbor's trail cam pic, coupled with Kevin's harvest pics, show this buck, as best as we can tell, as a 14-pointer. Now, congrats to Kevin on this unique buck harvest. And of course, congrats on a memory-making day for Kevin and Jim Pitzl. 2 nice bucks taken on the same day. Certainly a great family memory. Now, let's jump ahead a few weeks to November 19th, 2022, opening day of the gun deer season here in central Wisconsin.
Opening morning 2022. Last weekend, it was Shangri-La in here. Nephew's got 2 beautiful bucks out of here. A neighbor across the street got another nice one. This last week it finally snowed. Things are starting to freeze up. And everything shut down. Even with the snow on the ground, you're hearing very few shots. I got the feeling everything's sitting still. The rut ended during the week sometime. And the bucks are resting and the does are finally getting a break from the bucks. And like I said, snow on the ground, and it's snowing today. It's day 2 of the 2022 rifle season. Yeah, my hand's shaking. And nothing. Steven's saw 20 deer last night, 20 does out there by Nick. Maybe even pick up a little bit of the orange. I put him in a new stand because he didn't see nothing where he was yesterday. Steven's got a shooter buck hanging out by him, but he lost it now. He can't find it. And anyways, between yesterday morning and yesterday evening, probably saw close to 30 deer. I'm sure some of them were doubles just hanging out in the area, but saw close to 30 deer yesterday. I can understand why the farmers want the does gone.
By the afternoon of day 2 in central Wisconsin, many whitetail were on the move. Unfortunately, they were all does. And at dusk on day 2, the parade of does continued. And by the end of shooting hours on day 2, only one shooter buck was observed over the last 2 days by the RO360 crew. There was some apprehension on Monday morning, day 3 of the hunt. Everybody was watching for the hit list shooter bucks. But by mid to late morning, things were about to change. Craig spotted this 8-point buck and got his video camera rolling, capturing this buck moving through the area, let's just say with a purpose. Now, Craig had no intention of trying to take a shot at this buck, even though there were a few shooting lanes that he could have used his grunt call to try to stop this buck. But it was headed in the direction of Craig's son Steven and his buddy Nick, and he wanted them to have a shot at this 8-pointer. Besides, Craig was hunting all week long and planned on a 2 or 3 day hunt midweek, traveling up to the Vantagie deer camp and returning to finish out the last few days in central Wisconsin. Unfortunately, this 8-point buck changed course, and Steve and Nick never even saw him. November 22nd, Tuesday, day 4 of the hunt, saw Craig arrive at our northern Wisconsin Vantagie deer camp along the Brule River bordering upper Michigan in the late afternoon. It was about a 3.5-hour drive from our acreage in central Wisconsin.
Here's the first hunt out of my bear station. I'm hunting for deer, not bears. Got a dopey bottle over in that direction. My bear stumps are right down there. Anyways, that's it. It's a quiet place. I'm realizing I'm kind of closed in here for deer hunting though, up in the north woods. Right in last night we found tracks on top of the hill before we hit the camp. Wolf tracks, not tracks, wolf tracks on top of the hill. And up there, that's the valley just ahead. And as we came down into the camp, probably 300-400 yards from the camp, well, actually, there's one set of wolf tracks goes right through the yard, but 300-400 yards from the camp, there's 4 sets. So there's a pack of at least 4, maybe 5 wolves came through after the snow, but before the last snow, before the last dusting. So, but they were pretty fresh. So the dog stays on a leash when he goes out. And Chris and I are both carrying sidearms, walking out. Not that we're going with rifles anyways, but even a walk to the outhouse carries sidearms because of the John story when he got surrounded up here. Anyways, that's it.
Wednesday's sit was a quiet, non-action day. Other than the wolf tracks Craig talked about previously from the other day, there was no sign of any other wildlife moving in this area today. Certainly not a good start to the whitetail hunt here at the Vantagie camp.
Be on film? There, now you're on film. Now you're mugging for the camera? Huh? Are you mugging for the camera? Life in the Michigan deer camp. Well, not a Michigan deer camp. This is a Wisconsin deer camp still. We got snow coming down out there now. I was out for a couple hours this morning. Got a late start. Got into the stand. Some tracks. Talked about the wolf tracks already. Yeah, that's the other camp. Added a wool blanket for this weekend. Sitting in the camp watching the snow come down. With bad ankles and knees and hips and all kinds of other shit.
The last hunt on Friday morning finally brought some wildlife action. Although it was hard to see because of the dense woods, watch between the yellow lines for the movement.
There it is, bobcat. Should be just coming out the other side. It's gonna keep going. She's going over the hill. Hopefully I got it. I really couldn't tell.
Around arriving back in central Wisconsin on Friday evening after an unproductive deer hunt up at the Vantagie camp. The crew was reassembled for one last opportunity for the 2022 gun deer hunt. After another discouraging morning in the deer woods, let's join RO360 team member Craig Pitzl in the stand on Saturday afternoon.
Well, that's the sunset. Saturday, I think the 26th. And it's an evening hunt. This is my last trip out in the woods. Tomorrow I'll be wrapping things up. Just came out mainly for the sunset. Haven't seen anything since we got back from Michigan. Don't expect to see anything tonight. But boy, opening weekend was a wonder. Anyways, it's been a good season. Managed to spend a few days up at the camp. Saw lots of wolf tracks up there. And some deer tracks, but nothing fresh. Watched a bobcat go by my stand. Big, very big bobcat. And now, like I said, last trip in the woods for hunting anyways. I'll probably pick up stands tomorrow, the covers. I'll be pulling a couple of them tonight yet.
Well, the RO360 crew's bow season was a long struggle, but by late October, it was a successful bow season. The 9-day gun deer season was a completely different story. There was a lot of doe activity the first weekend, and a couple of bucks. But the meat poles were empty in central Wisconsin and at the Vantagie camp in northern Wisconsin this year. Well, we just wanted to thank you for coming along on the RO360's Fall Deer Seasons video. Hey, we'll catch you on the next video.
Feel free to comment below, or if you don't want to comment in the public eye, we can also be reached at rappinoutdoors360@gmail.com. Now, if you know somebody you think might enjoy this video series, please feel free to go ahead and share this video or this link with your friend. And as always, whether you fish or hunt, remember, practice CCR. Catch, conserve, replenish. Make sure that that resource is available for future generations. See you next time, guys.